So today's lecture is going to be on a very important topic. It's going to be on desire. It's understanding that the things that you desire has probably the largest impact on your life out of anything else that we could discuss. So, let me draw some pictures for you. Okay. You know the normal desires, right? Fat man wants a slice of cake. Little Jeffrey. What does Jeffrey want? He wants big boobed women on Pornhub. No one better relapse with this, bro. Come on. Okay? You know, this is like level 1. We want to avoid basic desires. Sugar, porn, video games, junk food. Everyone knows this. This is like basic self-improvement. But we've stopped the discussion there, and we think that these are the desires that we need to use willpower for. It goes a lot deeper than that. In the way of the superior man, you know, the concept of purpose is very important, and you've heard this from a lot of influence. Okay, be on your purpose, be on your purpose, be on your purpose. Does anyone know what, like, can anyone explain in the chat, in a very easy to understand way, what purpose actually means? Let me know. Spam in the chat and let me see like everyone's definition of purpose. Let's see. I want to see who got it right first. Yeah, we've actually got a very good understanding here. Let me get my notes up for this. Okay. Core desire. Purpose is desire, your main focus, your current reason for living. Core desire. What your consciousness needs to do. Nice. Very nice. Okay, our understanding is actually very, very powerful, by the way. A lot of guys don't really understand this. So when you hear be on your purpose on YouTube, it's on this lens of like, yeah, just achieve your goals, just like, you know, just work hard. We need to go way higher than that. What it seems to me that Data's talking about when he talks about purpose is your core desire. And he says at the start of the book, even before chapter 1 in like the introduction part, he says that there's a reason for why your soul is on this earth. I don't really understand, you know, like souls or anything, but I'm beginning to, right? So let's say there's something like our soul, our consciousness, whatever it is, right? And it's put onto this earth. There's something that it needs to do for you to live like the ultimate masculine life. Now, you probably know, remember when I did the purpose video and I explained that purpose is kind of like this little onion. And it's got layers. Like that. This little bit in the middle, the journey to that is the most important thing that we can do. Anything else is a waste of your life. There's no point in living if you're not progressing to this. Apparently, this is what like these guys are saying, and it makes sense. You can still have a life of pleasure, but the life that you can live if you're not penetrating through these concentric circles towards that core desire, the reason why your soul exists on this earth, is kind of pointless. You'll just be shallow. You'll be like a video game addict, right? Now, you, by listening to this and being in self-improvement, you've probably crossed like one of these lines so far. That's why, for example, you don't chase as much pleasure as you used to, and you've already seen how much this is helping your life. And you can imagine that the deeper you go into this, how much better your life will be. From what I've heard from these spiritual guys and from Data's book, it seems to me like the benefit of doing this is that you should be able to like get to live in as close to 100% of like presence, flow state, and love, which is probably like the single greatest experience that we can go to. This gives you like a trajectory in life. Is everyone following along? Does this make sense so far? This gives you a trajectory in life. And this is like our current understanding. But let me tell you to the next level that I've been thinking about. Let me draw it for you. I'll draw it, and at the same time, I'll do a little improv story. Let's see if Matthew Dix has ever seen something like this, right? I'm in the gym on the assault bike. Here's me. I'm in the gym on the assault bike. And the gym that I go to, by the way, is like a very like reality TV, Love Island. What I'm trying to say is there's a lot of women who've got fake titties. That kind of gym, right? And they've got like fake lips and everything. There's a lot of guys who take steroids. They've got tattoos. You can imagine the kind of place I'm talking about, like. And here I am. She walks in. What do you think's going to happen to my brain? New desire forms. Maybe lust. Maybe anger, degeneracy, resentments, right? Like some kind of desire forms into my mind. Whether it's that I want that or I actually want the opposite of that, it's still a desire. And then the big guy walks in. This actually happened to me. This is a real story. I'm in the changing rooms. A guy walked past me, and I was so aware that instantly my brain started to say to me, like it formed a desire, let's go and train Muay Thai, because since he's bigger than me, I could hopefully still like whoop his ass. And I genuinely started to debate, like literally started to think, okay, this could be like the new thing I do for the next 3 months. And imagine if I went deep into that, and it stemmed from literally a guy whose arm is 2 centimeters bigger than mine. Imagine if I dedicated months of my life to that. So now you're beginning to realize, okay, so desires have a lot of consequences. Level 1 is like these low level ones. It's the sugar, it's the video games, it's the porn and stuff. And we've largely overcome this, and we think, okay, we've got enough willpower, we're living a good life now. And yet there's a lot of levels. Like I think willpower might be the single highest leverage skill we could develop. Willpower, by the way, is the skill of resisting desires. Willpower, resisting desires. What's going to happen when you can't resist desires? When you go into the gym, there's a guy who's bigger than you, which is happening to you today, by the way. If you're really conscious and present of this, if you go to the gym today, guarantee if you're really vigilant, you will feel 20, maybe 50, maybe 100 desires, whether it's for the woman, whether it's for like, to change the song, whether it's to do this other exercise, whether it's like, the lust, or it's the anxiousness or the insecurity. The guy walks past you and, he's bigger than you. So you're thinking, okay, maybe I should bulk, or, like maybe I should cut and just be like the skinny TikTok guys. Cause they get girls, and like, maybe I should go learn some self-defense, just cause he's bigger than me. And you can end up finding yourself living a life that you weren't supposed to live, because the life you were supposed to live was there. That authentic core desire inside of you. So the journey of our life is that we are trying to fulfill this thing here, right? This core thing inside of us. How do you even know what it is when for the entirety of your life, all that's been happening is that everyone, including me, has been doing this to you? How many do you have? I'd imagine mine probably goes into the thousands. How are you supposed to fulfill your purpose right now? There's school. There's what your parents said. There's the chocolate you're addicted to that was made by evil scientists. There's the other type of food. There's the lust and the porn that you've been watching since you were 11 years old, and that girl and this girl and that girl, and the party lifestyle. Maybe you should play video games. Maybe, I could probably become an esports player, and that guy's bigger than you. That guy gets more girls than you. I should probably, start creating content on TikTok because the algorithm's like really, really good. You know what? Hamza's got a bathrobe. Maybe I should wear a bathrobe. Yeah, top 1% man, the 80-20. A few years ago, we used to call it the top 20, like get into the top 20% of men. And these days, it's top 1%. Do you see how much like bullshit you know? When you watch influencers like myself, this is what's happening. So how many hours a day are you spending on the internet? How many hours a day are more desires forming into your mind and stopping you from doing what you need to? This is the problem of inputs. Your greatest enemy. Inputs is all the things. That's such a bad brain, but input is this is your brain, right? So bad of a drawing, I'm going to have to write what it is. Input is all of the things that are going into your brain. It's this lecture right now. It's the YouTube video. It's the community post on Adonis School. It's the YouTube videos by other guys. It's Huberman. It's your school. It's your parents. It's even the food. There's a lot of input going inside of you right now. The only way for you to figure out what, this core purpose is if there's absolutely no inputs, pure silence, and it's only output. It's from the inside going out. This is why I used to say this, right? And I used to even say that this was my best advice ever. And I was saying that this was my best advice ever before I even knew this, right? What was it? My suggestion was that you spend a few hours and you just sit there on a chair in your room with all the screens turned off, and you just sit and stare at your wall. No input. How can you do that when you're addicted to porn? There's 72 guys in this call for guys who are on self-improvement. Guarantee 70 won't do this today. Guarantee it, because this is fucking hard to do. Just sit there and stare at your wall and let your own brain generate the thoughts. Let your own heart generate the desires. Let your own soul generate it outwards. Not from the things that you see in the external environments, not from the other girl you see in the gym, not from the influencers who put it on you, and Tate says you should do this, and I say you should live life like this, but rather from the inside. So here's some interesting things that I realized recently. The fat guy who wants another slice of cake because let's say this desire is going into him, isn't actually so different from the entrepreneur or businessman who needs even more money. If they're relentlessly chasing this desire, relentlessly thinking that this thing is going to give them fulfillment and happiness and joy and satisfaction and freedom, they're not actually that different. The guy who's 30% body fat is not different from the entrepreneur who sleeps 5 to 6 hours a night. They're not actually that different. They both suffer from the disease of desire. Fuck. How the fuck do you spell desire, bro? Desire. It's the exact same thing, but this is the thing, right? This one will get you laid. This one will get broken women into you. This one will get you likes on Instagram. This one will get you views on YouTube. So you're going to do it, right? Do it. Go sacrifice years of your life for this. It won't change anything. Having experienced it myself, I'll tell you, this desire doesn't actually change anything. Now, the first, I will just say quickly, like exactly how I would do this. I've gave a guide on this before. I'll link it later, but like, let me just, before you get the wrong idea. I believe money can be used as a good tool, but it is very dangerous. And so if I was just going to give you some very quick advice, just so you know it's in your mind, I would say anywhere from like, let's say, especially let's say the first 0 to maybe about 2K, 100% positive, absolutely do it. This will absolutely change your life. It might even change your family's. If, for example, your family can barely afford like these expenses right now, and you're able to give them literally just like $500 a month, that will literally mean that your dad's no longer sleep deprived. That will mean that your mother might not need to work the other job or have overtime. So this is genuinely like this is what I call a 0 to 1 life improvement, where it will genuinely change your life. The first like 2K to about 10K. This is like, okay, your life is getting good. You were already on like 1. Now you're going from 1 to, let's say, like 3. So your life has improved quite heavily there as well. Okay, you've got like pretty much, you can now at about 10K, you can afford to live in reasonably any country. Let's say obviously somewhere, maybe not Switzerland, maybe not like some big cities like Dubai or something, right? But reasonably any place, any like reasonable house, apartment, you can afford it. You can give your parents now like 2K, which means you can probably essentially retire them. Like whose parents here make less than like, let's say 4K. You'd be able to give that to them and still have 6K left over for yourself, right? So this is absolutely, again, still life-changing. 10K to 100K a month, per month, by the way, nothing changes. Absolutely nothing changes. Coming firsthand, I'm telling you this, and wise people told me this, but I didn't really listen to them. Absolutely nothing changes apart from your desire for degeneracy, for things that don't actually change, like, that take more away from your life. This is when, for example, your ego can get fulfilled because you've got a nice car, or you've got a bigger house. The first one wasn't big enough, and you can travel and go stay at the fancy villas. And I'm speaking from experience. I did all this myself, right? There's the pool and everything. You can go and do that. These things take more away than they give, by the way. The fancy villa, which, is really nice content. You take a few pictures, you can invite a girl there. Fancy villa, when you go and travel, bro, it's like a 15-minute scooter drive away from the gym. The place you would have gotten when you were making, 3K a month, 5K a month, you would have, like, literally, tell me if I'm wrong, but if you were going traveling somewhere, you're going to go live in Thailand for like a month or something, you'd probably go and book a place like right next to the gym. Suddenly you have no commute. Suddenly you can just walk there and you get to go to the gym and you save like an extra half an hour per day, and you save money on, the expense of this. You end up getting like a small little like hotel room, Airbnb or something. You get the fancy villa that's 6K a month, like I've done multiple times. And it's like a 15-minute, somewhat dangerous little scooter drive away from everywhere that you're trying to go. You do it because you want to get girls, because you want to experience like the fun life. Here I am, man, God, yeah, I've got the call, I've got the nice villa and everything. And even if you're doing it for pure degeneracy reasons, like I've done, let me just tell you firsthand experience. Like, you sleep with less girls anyway. Like, obviously that's not even like a good goal, but it's like these things often will take more away from you. I've just been saving up for a house that's over 1 million. I've been fully in the mindset that that's what I'm going to do. And it was only just a few days ago where I realized, wait, that's just going to take more away from me. Suddenly it's like, for the first time in a while, whilst I was on this desire to get like this house that I've been looking at, suddenly this is the first time where I felt pressure with money in a long time. Money is supposed to be your freedom. You know how Data talks a lot about financial freedom being like super, or just freedom being super important for men. There's lots of different freedoms, and your pursuit of these is really like the game of life, to free yourself from these other desires. And sometimes the way you do that, sometimes, is, for example, by becoming, let's say, financially free. You've made enough money. One of these like desires is, oh man, I need money. I need to go to the shitty job that I hate. Suddenly, if you make money, this one's crossed out, and it's like, okay, you're one step closer. But if you have unrestrained desires, by making more money, more of these desires will come in. The point of money was to help you to navigate and penetrate through this concentric circle to get to the inner part of your core, to achieve like this masculine bliss. But when you start making money, suddenly all the like extra desires pop on. It takes more. Like right now, you've already experienced the shitty conditioning of like modern life, right? You already know it. The porn, the video games, the lust, everything, right? Do you really think making like money is gonna like kind of save you from that? Or do you think that there's smart people who know that the moment you make money, they can convince you to spend it on shit that you don't need, and they can use like the marketing tactics, sales tactics, and everything. So making money does not necessarily free you, because there's people who have a lot less money than all of us right now, and they're a lot freer and closer living to their potential. So there's a question I want to ask you. I think what I'm going to try and do is like set up the breakout room. Which life would you rather live? We'll answer this question for a few minutes. Would you rather live the life of broke? I won't say broke actually, but I'll say, let's say 2.5k a month. 2.5k a month, but huge progress to your goal, to your core desire in life. You're absolutely like getting close to it. Let's say you've still got a few desires, but you're getting very, very good progress to it. You're becoming more present, more fulfilled. You're achieving the way of the superior man. This is your purpose. You're doing good. You feel literally like amazing doing this. But you could have, on the other side, let's say, 1 million. You've got millions, let's say. But with this, you're living in Dubai. And that new watch, would get you the respect of people, and you're going to go for dinner soon, so you got to go buy those new pants, and, like this. With this one, if we're being honest, actually you feel symptoms of depression. Maybe not clinical depression, because you can change that, but like you do feel some of the symptoms. You're not close to even getting to your purpose, because every time you make some progress, there's a new watch that you should buy. But on the other side, though, a girl with big titties likes your Instagram picture. Which one is it going to be, boys? It sounds like a stupid question, but it's probably worth just thinking, because I'm not going to lie, even quite a lot of guys on self-improvement are still going for this one. You still want the money, the fame, the muscles and stuff, just for this here. Another aspect, which I'll do just quickly, let's say if there's like a fitness side of this, you have a 7 out of 10 physique, fairly nice amount of muscle, but you're not like that lean or anything. But your health is very nice. Or you have the 10 out of 10 physique, the likes on Instagram, girls are super into you, the six-pack, everything, but you've got shit health. You've got 21 HRV. But again, big titty girl will let you fuck. Let me see if we can do like a little breakout room. Obviously it's a bit silly because everyone's obviously hopefully gonna say the self-improvement one, but I'm gonna set up the breakout rooms, everyone's gonna join, and then I'm gonna start flicking through them and hear like people's thoughts on this. There you go. You should get like a notification or something like that, just go join that. Oh, let me 1 second, guys. There you go.
Hello, mate.
Go on. Everyone's still muted, aren't they? Fuck. Hang on, let me unmute everyone. There you go. There you go. You guys can unmute yourself now, yeah?
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, let me flick around now. Alright, you guys discuss that and then let me know.
Hello? Can you hear me?
But it's tough. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, okay.
Marketing thing, trying to make money. Here I am, like, after hearing what Hamza was saying, I'm working so hard to get this money, and now I'm like, oh shit, is this like?
I'm kind of stuck in the middle of the money thing, but I don't know. Like, it is but with the physique, I'd much rather be healthier instead of 10 out of 10. So I don't know.
I think it's but you're not
girls, but it doesn't mean necessarily that because you have 1 million
you have to spend it on a bigger house, or you want fame, or you want to spend them in order to get a lot of girls. So it's more like, in some sense, I think mindset. And I'll say, the better you can, like, the better your life can get, because I think that the fact of having, for example, just 2.5K a month, and the matter of having, for example, something like, I don't know, 10K, the difference for me, if you ask me, is that, for example, okay, 2.5K a month will help me help my family, myself, my family, my girlfriend, etc., etc. With 10K a month, I could help also, I don't know, maybe the poor guy laying on the street, or the poor children, I don't know, in wherever part of the world. That's actually what always motivated me. Like, also, I was thinking, like, one day when I will have money in order to help, I don't know, the cats on the street, which are treated badly, and also the dog. So that's what about me. But I think that's also because I have really clear purpose.
So your purpose would be to help as many people as possible. So the poor guys, the cats on the street, and the parents. Okay. So you would say really one or two. It's like depends on the person, but it could be in between.
I think, like Hamza said,
if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Is that Hamza popping in?
I reckon, yeah.
Oh, please keep talking, bro. Oh man, what a fucking breakout room is this, bro?
And what do you guys think about, not for the money, but rather for physique? What do you think about physique? Like, you can balance and body, or like staying at like 7 out of 10, that's still.
Okay, after just 1 month, are you actually gonna indulge and spend it on bullshit? It's the same way by having the cake in front of you. Of course, you have it in front of you, but do you actually have to eat it? That's the question. Do you actually have to spend the money?
I guess you're right, because everything comes down to mindset, but lifestyle inflation is a thing, and if you give in to the pleasures, then you'll start spending a lot of money on things that you don't need. And
I think it comes down to what makes you happy. Like he was talking about finding like who you truly are, like who are you and what do you want. I think that's the most important question.
dedicate your life to your purpose.
No.
It depends a lot on what you're actually trying.
And the other guys, Clement.
And the other ones?
Harry.
Yeah, I don't know what to say because for me, purpose is a bit complicated, and I really want to find my real purpose. So I think I must experience what is what's being purposeful, but to have a little money and to be rich, but to have no purpose. I can't really say what's the best for me, as I haven't really experienced one of them.
Oh, are you French, Clément?
Yes.
Oh, I can also speak French.
Sorry for my accent. It's
your purpose and doing what you want to do every day. I don't know. Bit of a weird one.
Constantly, and that means that they now have to like worry about more and more things,
Yeah, it's
and it like starts taking their mental space.
Depends on the value you place on it. If you're entertained, you have 30 supercars, you're not really going to care about one of them. Yeah, it might to an extent.
Sorry, boys, I got moved to another room. I didn't hear any of the discussion just now.
Oh, you're right.
So yeah, what would you boys take? Would you all take the left?
I'd take the left.
Personally,
I think took is better.
But if you work on your purpose, you would be able to make more money eventually, right?
It's not black and white. It's not.
Yeah.
This fucker's got us thinking in black and white for a reason, I bet.
Let's begin, boys.
There's definitely more like underneath, I think.
Also, Hamza said. Also, I remember him saying about an ego thing. So when you get an ego, you start to be complacent. So I feel like the more you earn, the more likely you're going to have an ego, get complacent, and then buy material shit. Just
Well, depends how you earn the money.
Always
Like
bring down your own ego.
The self-improvement.
Back to humble mode.
That's like a different way of earning money. I feel like you're on self-improvement while you're an entrepreneur. It's a little different. Because you already know about delayed gratification. You already know about rejecting degeneracy.
But then it's like, would you forget about that if you were making X amount of money?
Depends how much it matters to you then.
I think it's easier to reject something that's not that appetizing. You know what I mean? It's like if you're turning down a $10 Macca's burger versus a $500 steak. You know what I mean? It's like it's easy to say now, so I'd be able to resist. You know what I mean? It's like, I was gonna say. I think what's that analogy? I think Alex Murphy said it. The girl in the red dress gets better and better the more you progress along. Yeah.
That's a really good point.
Lifestyle inflation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, let's begin, guys. That was a really good point, Jesse. Okay. So I just gave you some time to discuss with everyone there, using the Zoom breakout rooms for the first time. Just spam in the chat what was like the general consensus of everyone's answer then. What are we thinking? El Dubai. Left, in the middle. It's not nuanced. We've got good mindsets here, you know. Well, you know what I will say? Let me destroy everyone's egos. It's easier to think that you know that you'll do the right thing when it's not in front of you. When the hottest girl of your life wants to have sex, and she says, oh yeah, don't worry about the condom. Or maybe she doesn't even bring it up at all and just pulls you in. It's very easy right here, right now to be thinking, yeah, of course, like, I wouldn't get some random girl pregnant, of course. But I want you to think right now, there's high-level athletes who have 10 times more discipline than you, right? They train for 4 hours a day, they experience broken legs, ACL tears and everything, they're ultra-competitive, high testosterone, all that things. Right? Imagine some professional athletes. And how many of them get some random women pregnant? How many of them, these disciplined guys, these regimented guys, end up wasting money, get bankrupt? Mike Tyson was bankrupt 1 or 2 times. All of these guys going out drinking. The NBA players getting trapped by like women who purposely were trying to get pregnant by them. So if you think that you're some like disciplined guy and it's not going to happen to you, I mean, those guys might be a lot more disciplined than us, right? They're so disciplined that they get paid professionally for it. That's what sport really is. It's just being disciplined in your craft. So it's just something to bear in mind. Have the humility right here, right now as young men to say, you know what, it could happen to me. It could happen to me. Now, Jesse made a really interesting point. There's a concept called, I didn't even plan to teach this right now, but there's a concept called the woman in the red dress. How'd you draw a woman, bro? Yeah. Imagine that dress is red. The idea is that this encapsulates the distractions that can arise in your journey. The real story is like in the movie The Matrix. The main guy is like walking through the street. He's supposed to stay focused on like the task that they're doing. But then this woman walks past. Everyone is like grey, right? Imagine like he's walking through like a big city. Everyone is just kind of grey, usual, mundane. And then this woman who feels like she's got like 10 times more saturation and she's really pretty and everything, she walks past, distracts him, and then he ends up getting like shot in the face or something because he wasn't focused. And this is what we call the woman in the red dress. It's the thing that distracts you when you get to a new level. And so let's imagine if we use like autist terms, the woman in the red dress for you right now is a fat girl. You could probably get her, and she's like genuinely like a 2 out of 10. And I don't say this to be offensive, but everyone will understand, right? She's a 2 out of 10. Are you right here, right now, going to stop your journey for her? Probably not, right? And yet, when you climb through self-improvement and success, she keeps getting prettier. So she goes from this fat woman who, you know, I mean, if it's 4 a.m. And then she goes, you know, slightly, she's like, okay, she's lost some weight. Now you've got girls who are just, you know, they're still not really attractive. And obviously this is for all distractions, and I'm not saying this to be like dehumanizing or anything. It's just a very good way to explain things. Let's say, okay, you've got the 6-pack, you've been making a few thousand a month, and now she's a 6 out of 10. The distractions are a 6 out of 10. You can imagine a 6 out of 10 woman. Now place that into all the kinds of distractions you can imagine: the parties, the drinking, the women, even the other men who are talking to you and you know, networking with you and everything. They're all a 6 out of 10 distractions. My assumption is you'll start to experience these in probably like maybe like 2 to 3 years of self-improvement. Everything gets to about 6 out of 10. This, around this place here, is where most guys will stop in their entire lives. This is where they'll stick at, right here. Because as you get better, so does this. Now, how much discipline are you going to have to keep going and going and going and going and going till they get very good? And this is what, like, you know, the top level athletes do, right? They get to this level, and now those women that they get are very, very attractive, right? We're talking 8.5s, they're 9s, and it's this exact same things. Now they're going to like literally 9 out of 10 parties. They've got like 9 out of 10 men who want to network with them. They've got 9 out of 10 news agencies and magazines that want to do, you know, promotions and talk to them and do interviews and everything. And this is where even like the best athletes in the world stop. But you kind of forget about them though. These are the, you know, they might be really good athletes. They're not remembered one generation later. And the level goes higher. Now this isn't to say that you should desire these things. Oh yeah, I'm going to get to level 10. Because you might think, okay, well, let's say you get up to this level here, the 6 out of 10. You use discipline, you use willpower, you get to like a 6 out of 10 life, you've been pursuing your purpose, you've got the equivalent of 6 out of 10s, you know, you've got the women, you've got the parties, everything, right? And you choose not to delay here. But you are starting to feel potentially a little bit depressed or annoyed because it's like, well, I've just used discipline. Like, when do I get to enjoy it then? If not a 6, are you telling me, okay, to get to like 9 out of 10, I'm not sure if I'll ever get there. A 10? Okay, so should I just, you know, try to get to 10 and then I can enjoy the parties and the women and everything? No. Because you see, it was never about these things. These external validation, external success, other people, money, materialistic desires, and watches and cars. It was never about these things. Really, the reward of this life of discipline and willpower, the reward is the man that you become. Because the closer that you get to your potential, the closer that you infiltrate into this core desire, the more that you actually start to like yourself. And that's one of the greatest gifts, greatest rewards that you could have. Now you can stop and just, you know, be happy with the 6 out of 10 girl, the 7 out of 10 party, the, you know, the 7.5 business, or, you know, the physique or whatever it is, all the distractions. You can stop there. But at the cost of your soul, there's no price that's worth that. So I think I've spoke about my Dubai story, but I want to give you like a quick example here, because I want to emphasize that these things, they happen with seemingly productive desires. Yeah, Dubia. Hamza's Dubia story. I'll tell it very quickly because I've got like a full video explaining what happened there. Here I am in my house, where I am right now. 10 out of 10 happiness, fulfilling my purpose. I'm doing coaching calls. I'm making like 1 or 2K a month. I'm making like £95 an hour, which is very good for my age, right? I was like 25 years old. I've got 1 or 2K or 3K, or eventually I started having 10K subscribers. I start making like 5K a month. I sign up to a gym because before this I was literally training outdoors. I start making 10K a month. I'm buying slightly better clothes because before my clothes literally had holes in them. So, you know, that seems reasonable. I've got a 10 out of 10 routine. I love my life. Everything's sick. And then I look at influencers. They get viral on YouTube. And they've got a Bugatti. And Iman's got watches. This is success. Now this is success right now. This is what we should be working for, guys. Everyone's going to look at you. They've got women. And those women have got big boobs. This is what success looks like. Oh, yeah, this is it. Yeah, you know, but do the hard work. Yeah, you know, Bugatti, Baruki. Yeah. Okay. Move to Dubai, 0% tax. The West is falling. Yes. Here I am, guys. Masculinity is awesome. This is what success looks like. Oh, the cigar. Oh, cool. Okay. Oh, the Tate hand pose, eh? Oh, nice. Oh, the shades. Oh, whoa. Oh, get invited onto podcasts. TikTok marketing. Now this is what success looks like. And, you know, now that I'm successful, got to move to Dubai to save money on tax, right? You know what no one tells you about Dubai? Like all of these guys who live there, none of them actually like it. They don't tell you on YouTube, but they tell me in person. None of them like living there. You know why? Because they had money before, and they used the money for freedom. Then they moved to Dubai, and they used their freedom for money. That's why. When you first start making money and you do it with a good mindset and you limit input and you stare at the wall, money equals more freedom. When you start looking at my older videos, when you start looking at these influencers who are telling you this is how much money they make and this is their lifestyle, and you know the West is falling, you got to move to Dubai, you got to do all this stuff, you start exchanging your freedom for money. You know what they don't tell you about moving to Dubai? That you are forced there to live there for 90 to 100 days per year. You are forced to be there. Now imagine my life at home beforehand. Here I am, sick life. I'm making 10K a month, right? So I'm literally like the highest income earner of like close to the gym. I'm probably the highest income earner of like at least my age when I was here, right? Like this was about 1 or 2 years ago, probably about 2 years ago, right? And then this is the future. You trade. What I had was a perfect schedule. You trade all that. And now you are forced to be at a certain place, to put in time like a prison. You've got to be there. So, you know, when they show you pictures of them getting into like the business class Emirates or even the private jets, you know, they seem like so free and masculine and rich. That's because they're actually slaves, because they have to do that. They have to be in this country that they don't want to be. Now, this is 50% of the year, right? Imagine this, 50% of the year, so therefore of your life, you don't like where you live. You don't like 50% of your life, but you save money on taxes. Freedom in exchange for money? Stupidity. Absolute stupidity. It's completely backwards. And seemingly wholesome desires might be a problem as well. So I was in the gym in the restaurant yesterday, or a few days ago actually, and I'm meeting my friend Scott. He does like a lot of like the cameraman work for me. And, you know, he's just showing me like the things he's doing, whatever, but just having a nice conversation. He's like a good friend of mine from the last few years, Scott. And we end up talking about, I don't know, retiring family, whatever. He's quite like a good, like masculine guy. He's in Adonis School as well. And he's like, oh yeah, he shows me his phone. And on his phone, on the lock screen, which is very similar to what we might have, he had a list of goals there. And it was like, buy my mom a cottage, I think it said, like, so, you know, buy her like a better house because her house isn't that nice right now. Make X amounts per month. Seemingly pretty good goals, right? And one of them, which is probably going to surprise you when I say that this might not be a good goal, he wrote, move to Bali. Move to this wholesome, beautiful place, which a lot of you guys would probably love to go, right? And instantly I said to him, like straight away, I broke his dreams and I said, don't do that. I'm guaranteeing you that's not the right thing. You know why? He had been to Bali before this. I had like an okay, you know, time there and stuff. And he ended up needing to travel back when like his money ran out and he wanted to like focus and everything, right? So me and my friend Scott, we both moved back to the UK this year. I was in Thailand/Dubai. He was in Bali, right? So there he is. I'm in like Thailand/Dubai. We both moved back to the UK earlier this year in around, I think he came back a little bit before me. I came back in March. He probably came back in like January or February, right? Since that time, since we've come back in the last like 5 to 7 months, we have had the greatest growth of our entire lives that we have ever seen in each other. I came back, income went from like, what was it before? Like, I don't know, 20K a month, up 5 times, 6 times, up to like 120K, 100K, something like that, right? He came back, he's done really well with his, like the offer that he's selling now, which is where he connects with creators, with coaches, and then sets up like the funnel and everything, right? Like kind of like marketing stuff. And he's making the most money that I've ever seen from him. And he's the most like we're driven guys now. We're on monk mode. We're like, you know, doing like hard workouts and everything. And we're making a bunch of money. And it like life feels good. I see the energy in him and I think he saw it in me. And then I saw his goal for going to Bali. And I said to him, which is going to be interesting for you, why? Why go there? Why do we have this desire that once we achieve success, we're going to change things and we're going to move over to the other country, the Thailand, okay, we're going to go to Dubai, we're going to go to, you know, the Bali place and everything. Why? Because that seems like a wholesome desire, right? It seems like something that's just absolutely normal. Have you scrutinized that desire inside of you? Just by like a wave of your hands towards the camera, who might have a desire somewhat similar to that? When I make money, I want to go and travel. I want to go and like, you know, live in a different country, Bali and stuff. A fair amount, right? Because now I just want everyone who's shaking their hands right now. Just, someone wrote, because men are explorers. Yeah, fantastic. But I want everyone to be honest. Were you born with that desire? Were you like 6 years old thinking, oh yeah, I can't wait to like go to different countries? Or did the travel industry put that desire onto you? Did the influencers who are doing all this, who look so cool, did that whole business, did they put it onto you? Because for some guys, they would have loved exploring when they were super, super young. They would have loved it. Sure, maybe that works for you. But was it genuinely, like, is this a genuine, authentic desire inside of you? Or has it literally been so deeply rooted into you that once you make success, once you make some money, you go and travel? Because that's what I realized for Scott. I started to him, okay, you're the kind of guy, very much like me, you get onto a routine, you work super, super hard, you like the routine, you like working hard, and that's like all you care about. Very like masculine, routine-orientated guys. I said, okay, why exactly would you go to Bali? Because you're not, like, correct me if I'm wrong, are you going for fun and for pleasure? Do you like having, like, you know, the fruit bowls and the cute pictures and stuff? He's like, no, I don't give a fuck. I was like, I'm just going there for business. I was like, how would it be better going there for business when this is the best your business has ever been so far? Why would you change it? And this is when his jaw started to drop and literally I was breaking his fucking dreams. I was like, what if you didn't change anything? What if you were unchanged by success? Let's say, okay, you said once you make 5 or 10K a month, that's when you'll go. What if you didn't? Because what if you were able to scale from 0 to 10K a month here in this environment, that this was the right environment for you, but the desires have been placed into your mind that are convincing you to do something else? If right here, let's say for you guys, right here, when you live with your parents, this is where your routine is absolutely 10 out of 10. This is where you're like actually making some good moves in your physique and everything. Why would you move to change that so quickly? Is it because you might get some validation, even though you won't want to admit it? Is it because someone else has just moved there and their desires went into you? Is it because you've seen some travel YouTubers, or, you know, there's a guy you like who's traveling and it seems kind of cool? Now, if it's a part of your purpose, like your core desire in your life to go to, like, you know, see a new land, it could be. But is it your desire? Because I realized it's not for me. But it feels so weird for me to say that, but like, I don't like traveling. I don't give a fuck. But all of my life I've been told that that's what you do when you start making money. It seems weird for me to make this amount of money and I still live at home with parents. But this is where my routine is fantastic. Now let's say, okay, I'm done with traveling. I want to go move in with my girlfriend. We're going to get a house and stuff. That was my plan, right? And I literally just stopped. Imagine being months into this plan with your girl, thinking, okay, we're going to buy the house. We're going to go and, you know, we'll live with each other soon. And my girl literally believes this, right? And I do as well. But literally looking at the house, it's going to be beautiful. And suddenly I have this realization when I'm saying this to Scott, thinking, wait, I should probably take that advice. Why am I about to change the routine that's literally built me into the man that I am today? Now, sure, when like we're absolutely ready to have children and stuff, yeah, sure. But right now, why change it right now? And then I'm remembering the times that we kind of like lived together and the relationship was a lot harder because it brings, you know, it's a very complex situation when you live with someone else and you share like those intimate moments 100, 500 times more than if you just see each other every now and then. And here I am growing to an incredible level. There she is at her place growing to an incredible level. Why are we changing? Why are we desiring something else? Because it's the normal thing to do, right? You get a year into a relationship, you buy the house, you get the mortgage, right? That's the normal thing to do. Who put that desire? Was that desire like formed into my heart when I was born to get a mortgage? Or did someone put that into me? But did a whole industry potentially brainwash us into that? And again, like some people are disagreeing in the comments. 100%, bro. If your desire genuinely is, for example, house ownership, or it's the travel, then if it's your desire, 100% do it. This isn't me trying to convince you, oh yeah, these things are bad. This is me trying to tell you, scrutinize the desires that you have, and if they're placed there by someone else, it's probably not the thing you should dedicate your life to. Think back to me being sat there on the assault bike and a guy who's more muscular than me comes in, and literally straight away my mind literally started to like set the plan for the next 6 months of my life that I would go all in on Muay Thai or MMA or something. Think about how weird that is, that I was about to dedicate like the most important time of my life to this random like desire, this goal, and where it stemmed from was like the slight insecurity that there was a guy who was slightly bigger than me. This is where these desires can come from, and this is why it's so important, because if you get distracted with these random desires that pop into you from the, you know, the travel industry because they want to sell you the plane ticket, or, you know, the guy comes in and he's more muscular than you, this could be months of your life that you've just added a new layer which wasn't supposed to be there. You know, the trajectory of our lives is literally just to like navigate through these layers to get to the core desire. Imagine adding these layers on yourself, and it takes months away from your life. It takes years away from your life. Now, unfortunately, motherfuckers have done this already because they made us go through a shit education system for 15 years. And maybe if you've got, you know, parents who are somewhat like bullies, they're telling you, no, this is the career for you. Every single time you open up the Instagram app, there's another one. Every single time. This is something for you to be extremely vigilant about as time goes on. To really, like, you know, just encapsulate this picture and to think to yourself, when is the next one being added on? And it will go so quickly. You won't even realize how quick you've just dived deep into a desire and you were about to change the next 6 months of your life for it. Tate says something that gives you like an idea on a podcast. And that's it. 6 months of your life gone to someone else's goal, someone else's desire. They tell you that the West is falling down. Okay, 2 years of your life gone, you know, moving to Dubai, doing something else. This wasn't you. Now, if you live in some like war-torn country, it's dirty, it's horrible, your authentic desire is like your physical safety level 1. Okay, let's get out of here, right? Like, you know, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? 100% that's a core desire. Okay, sweet, get that done. That's a really good layer to add on, right? We're not physically safe exactly where we are. But for example, bro, I live in this fucking cute little town with trees and everything. And when Tate and everyone and all these guys say, oh yeah, the West is falling, you know, London's crime rate. I had never even been to London in my life, bro. And I was like, yeah, London's falling, bro. Like, why? The place I live has got pretty much no crime. Little high school kids, trees, old people. My perception of the world here is it's very, like, of the West of UK. Clean, safe, loving people. And yet for a long time, this was like a desire of mine. Oh yeah, get away from the West. I dedicated my life to that. For 2 years, that was the focus. Imagine literally considering a whole religion, like, you know, everyone's talking about Islam recently. Imagine considering the whole religion just because Sneeko recently converted into it. And they're telling you, yep, yeah, you know, the West is degenerate, bro. I'm not sure how authentic these guys are. I don't know if, like, they probably will be in the space. I'd be interested to look back at all these red pillars who are talking about Islam, to look back in about 10 years and see if they're bullshitting or not. Because it seems to me like one after the other, they're just hearing the desire from Tate and they're like, yeah, sounds cool. You know, the West is degenerate. And before you know it, here you are, like, believing in a God that you don't actually believe in, following practices that you don't even understand. And maybe when you look back, you realize, like, yep, there was a 30-second clip of an Andrew Tate short that convinced me that this was how I should dedicate my life. I'm not saying that religion's bad, but is it actually your real desire, or did someone on a fucking Red Pill podcast put onto you? This is the last bit of advice that I gave to my friend Scott. This is a very poor drawing, but actually, hang on. Let me try and draw something right now. Imagine these are all soldiers, and they are in a trench. Everyone knows what a trench means, right? Trench is kind of like a dugout hole in the ground, so they're very low down right now because there's bullets whizzing past them. And these guys are in like absolute 10 out of 10 chaotic like battle right now with their guns and everything, right? And there's like more guys on this side shooting them, right? I said to my friend Scott, some men are supposed to live in the trenches. Every single day, a bunch of these like non-warrior guys will be saying, I can't wait to get out of the trench. I can't wait to stop working so hard. I can't wait to retire. I can't wait to go sip pina coladas on the beach and go travel and everything. Most of these like non-warrior types will be saying that. Every single day they're saying that. I can't wait to get home for Christmas. Can't wait to see my family. Can't wait to do all these. Some men are supposed to live in the trenches, and yet this guy his brain will be influenced and form the same desire as the other three men. And so when the war is finally over, and this guy's, you know, he feels somewhat happy to go home and he doesn't really know what he's going to do. Those three guys, they go home to their families and they have a pretty good life. This is the one who ends up hanging himself. Some men are supposed to stay in the trenches. Some men, their entire lives is supposed to be orientated for growth. If you're hearing this, you probably are one of these guys. Some men, like, you know, there's a lot of men who literally, this is like their potential. They want to stop here. They want to stop here. They want to stop here. They see nothing else, like, you know, with their lives. You wouldn't be here if you were one of these men. So this is a phrase I've been saying to myself. Some men are supposed to live in the trenches. Some men are supposed to continuously keep growing. You could have every real world success material object. If you're hearing this message right now, you probably are not one of these guys who would be satisfied with a life like this. If you stopped even with the girl, the car, the money that all these other guys are, if you stop there, you will get those like symptoms of depression. You will start to dislike your life because of how much you care about self-improvement. I don't believe you'll just turn that off at any given point. I believe if you're not improving till the day that you die, you'll have a wasted life. Because at the end of this life, right there is the core desire. So to stop short because other people are stopping short, to slow down because other people are telling you, yeah, you know, digital nomad in Thailand, you can sit in the cafe and pretend to do work. No one's getting deep work done in a cafe, bro. Trust me. Everyone else will stop around here. That's the last little quote I'd like to say to you and for you to maybe write down. Some men are supposed to stay in the trenches. So my last bit of advice for you, limit your input. Be careful of the desires that are placed onto you. Write that down, put it everywhere, stay super vigilant. Because if there's an input inside of you, inside of your heart and your soul, and you don't scrutinize it and you're not aware that it's an input from someone else, you might literally create your own like false purpose layer, as Billy's just said, and you might waste years of your life achieving a goal that never meant anything for you. One last thing that I'll actually say is Naval Ravikant. Give me like a little shake of your hand like this if people know who that is. Naval Ravikant. Okay, not so much. So he is a billionaire investor, super, super smart guy. He has this phrase, which Alex Hormozi talks about a lot. Desire is a contract with yourself to stay unhappy up until you achieve that desire. connecting the dots made me really see this. At first, when I heard that, I thought he was like being a pussy. No, you know, we're masculine men. We you know, set these desires. I want women. I want muscles and everything. Now I'm realizing it's absolutely it, because when you have this core desire, this purpose, you feel dissatisfied with life up until you're making progress for it, and that's maybe not a bad thing. If you've got this real core desire that's genuine to you, you should probably not feel good if you weren't pursuing that. That's literally like a positive, like, you know, emotion that's drawing you, motivating you to go and achieve that thing. But if you're adding another desire and suddenly you think, well, you know, Tate's making a lot of money, maybe I should, but it's nothing to do with your purpose. Suddenly you're just literally signing this contract saying, yep, I'll stay unhappy up until I complete Tate's goal for him. But it's not going to do anything for you because you're stuck on the same little purpose layer. That is the constraint of your life. Limit your desires. Limit input and scrutinize your desires. We'll end it there, boys. Let me, sweet. Thank you for listening, boys. You can go to the community post and write a post about this if you want to discuss what we